Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the Burton Burger Podcast. We got a banger of an episode for you today. Me and Bert on episode 110. We're able to get Barak Hardley on, the actor, the famous actor. He's bigger than Tom Hanks, in my opinion. He's been in The Office. He has been in Super Bowl commercials. He has worked with Samuel L. Jackson. You know what? Samuel L. Jackson has worked with Barrack, actually. That
Yes.
is how it is. We got him on the show today. How you doing, Barrack?
Good. Good. Big intro. Big intro. Hope I live up to that.
Yeah. No, you already have, man, because Bert and I shit you not even an hour ago, just finished watching your movie spell on
Oh,
the
wow.
interwebs. Yeah, no. So we got
So you've
lots
seen
of
me
stuff.
full frontal.
I was
Yeah.
about to say you are the first guest in whose peen we seen, and hopefully not the last. So yeah, that was very exciting. So um
Yeah.
with that cliffhanger, man, I mean, Barrett, you just kind of want to introduce yourself to the guest. I mean, tell them who you are, what you do, and we'll just kind of jump right into it, man.
Yeah, I'm a actor and writer in LA, and I'm an artist. Just pretty much if it's creative, I kind of like to do it. If it's a good creative idea, that's a little challenging. My kind of makes my brain go crazy for it. So I'm just
Mhm.
always like chasing some new creative venture, like 40 or 50 at a time currently. But yeah.
Okay.
Got on
Absolutely.
TikTok about a month and a half ago, so that's where I'm just like obsessively spending time. TikTok's great, man. It's like you I can finally find an audience there. So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
which is
No, it
nice when
doesn't
you
take
make
too long.
creative things. You want an audience to like
Hmm.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, we thought TikTok was the cringiest thing on the planet, man. And we tried to avoid it as much as possible. And then it started kind of making us a little audience as well. And then people started listening to the podcast. So we were like, lol, never mind. I guess it's okay now. So,
Yeah, I
uh,
avoided it like the plague. I had people telling me I was like, man, I can't like reach anybody on Instagram. I've had like 3,000 followers for 10 years. I can't grow. And then the people are like, you got to try TikTok. I was like, that's for kids, right? And then I
yeah.
tried it and it's so cool. It's great.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is where I came across you, because Bert certainly didn't reach out to get a guest on.
Nah.
But it was your TikTok about somebody saying like, "Hey, aren't you the guy in like the Capital One commercial?" And you're like, "Yeah, that's me." and then you just and then you just showed it. You were in the For You page, so then that's when decided to check you out, dive into it a little bit. And not only are you an actor, which is something that I've been fascinated by since I was a kid, but also, I mean, just an artist in general. I mean, I don't know if it's recently, but you've been posting a lot of like those clay sculpting things that you've been doing on TikTok lives. I know I've stopped in and chatted with you a little
Yeah.
bit there, and those are really cool. Bert, I told him that we would buy some magnets from him, so this one's coming out of your pocket.
Yeah. He's got some good ones.
He does.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was that something that you've been doing for a while, or I thought I heard somewhere about how you kind of picked up on it recently and you really enjoyed it?
Yeah, I've been pursuing acting for 15 years out here, and it's been good. I've been able to make almost a living at it some years. And
Sure.
then it's real
Sure.
feast or famine, and then for 3
Oh
years
yeah.
it's just been an absolute famine. So I'm like I've so many projects that I feel like, oh, they're all around the corner, but none of them have paid me in ever. So I'm just
Hmm.
like trying to do the art hustle
Hmm.
and trying to pour all of kind of my skill sets into that. Like, oh, I can draw and sculpt and make things. But then I've done a lot of commercials and like made commercial campaigns and written them, and so I'm just trying to like use all of those skills right now on TikTok to do whatever I can to drum up an audience to find people who want to pay for some dumb magnets. I started making magnets about a month and a half ago. Just
Yeah.
I had some Sculpey and they're like, maybe people would buy these. So it's been going good for a while. But I
Mhm.
lose an interest in things after a little while, so I'll probably pivot away from that. I think
Yeah.
Sure.
get into some other projects soon.
Yeah, yeah, and like I said, I think live is a great way to grow an audience on TikTok,
Mhm.
especially if it's something that you can interact with the audience. So, like, what we do is something that takes a lot of skill and talent. Is
Oh, yeah.
we literally show a map of the United States with all of their counties, like little squares in it, and we just color in people's counties as they comment it, man. And
As a what?
we just color in their counties. We'll be like, "Yo, comment your county," and we'll color it in. So they'll be like Jefferson County, Mississippi, and you will be surprised how much money people will be paid, or will pay you to fucking zoom in on a square, color it in, and then zoom out of it. So,
Wait, they're
uh,
paying money just for you to color in their county?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How much do they pay?
Well, it just they do the donations with the TikTok gifts through live and stuff like that. So I mean, we'll take a fucking penny, Barrack. But I mean, we've made like $60 off of 1 hour live stream before of just coloring in live. So like we can't make a living off of it, but it's
Oh,
definitely stacked up to where we could make a fun purchase someday if you know what I'm saying.
Nice.
And the big thing about it though is we tell them to follow us. Like if you want your county color, all you got to do is follow us here on TikTok or YouTube or something like that. And then that is when things started to take off. We're still tiny shit and fucking nobodies, but that's when we saw an actual growth in these things. Barrack's writing fucking these ideas right now. He's like, scrap the fucking shit that takes talent. If they want their counties colored in, daddy can do that. But yeah, that's all we've been doing. They pay you. They pay you to do that. They'll follow you. They'll sub on YouTube. They'll let you talk to their moms. They'll give you their sister's phone number. I'll fucking know, dude. I mean, they really want your counties colored in. But the problem is most of them are like 7 years old, so you got to be careful what you say and everything
Oh
like
yeah, I'm not trying to get that kind of audience at all.
no.
yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, like
Give
I
me
don't I
yeah,
was
give me adults with disposable income.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess they just give us their daddy's credit card. I don't know. I mean, out of 100, no, I don't want to say that. I'm gonna say out of 107-year-olds, we'll get like one person of age that likes the show, but
I
that
don't
kind
think
of
so.
that kind of makes us
So
kind
this
of
is all
weird.
for this show is for your audience is like 7-year-olds?
Oh, our live audiences, we try to get them to watch the podcast, and they literally just say, "I'm not interested in that color in my county, or I'll fucking skin you alive."
It's
Jeez.
So
terrifying.
the people that actually listen to the show are not 7 years old, but the people that want their county colored in, I can't imagine they're like your age, Barrack.
Uh,
So you probably don't really give a shit if your county's colored in on a Burtonburger
I do
County.
not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, TikTok's great though. It's always fun coloring in people's counties. We get banned all the time on live. Have you gotten banned on TikTok yet, Barrack?
No, what'd you get banned for?
Spreading misinformation is what they're telling us.
Oh, like what?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Surprise.
No idea. If you want to hop in one of our lives someday and let us know what we're doing, it's really odd and it happens all the time. Like, and then when you look at like what they mean by misinformation, you're like, you're spreading fake news.
It's like
Probably like that's your 7-year-old audience, like
yeah.
just trying to screw with you, like
Yeah.
reporting you.
Yeah, just spam reporting. It's just like, damn it, guys, I just want to color in your counties. And people start calling us fucking predators because Bert's a co-host of this show, but also they're like, oh, they just want your fucking area codes and shit. And I'm like, nah, brah,
This is
just
not a
give me your
scam.
money.
Okay.
Give me your money. I don't
Yeah,
give a
like
shit
one of
about
the
your
first
county.
things. One of the first things that I went viral for was I just made a little video going like, "Hey, 10 years ago, I did like I worked one day on a video game. Does anybody remember Red Dead Redemption?" And then
Oh yeah.
I got like 5,000 followers from that, 10,000, some crazy number.
Mhm.
And then I was like, "Oh wait, I don't want this audience. Like, I'll take them. I'm happy to have
Mhm.
people who like me and like my humor, but I was like, this is like all of a sudden like the tone shifted from being like really supportive to being kind of like you get a lot more kids who are just kind of assholes. Like
Yep.
I was like, oh, I don't want to develop this audience. I'm gonna pivot away from talking about video games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, video games bring in some weird fucking people. That's for sure, right, Bert? But
Oh yeah.
that kind of leads us though into some discussions that we wanted to have with you, Barrack. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just twiddling my fingers. Is it okay if we ask you about Red Dead, or do you think we're assholes too? Or
Yeah, ask about whatever you want. I mean, the
Well-
asshole thing is TBD, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you don't want me to asking you anything about anything I want, Barrack. I mean, I did see your wiener, so I could go.
I mean, I'll talk about that. I've never actually had. No one's ever. It's shocking. You make a movie and you kind of pour your heart into it, and as you're making it, you go, well, I need to really think this through because other people will think it through too. Like they'll really watch it and like zing you with questions. And then you make a thing and no one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck that you made it. And then even if somebody cares and they watch it, I remember after the screening, I thought like somebody would have a question about it because it's like a really magical mystery kind of. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of interesting themes, and like I've never gotten one question about fucking anything. So I'll answer any question. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but not a ton.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about the nude scene because, like, honestly, it's wild. I did full frontal nudity in my own movie, and like, no one has ever brought it up.
That's a play.
Yeah, no. So here's the thing. I didn't. Oh boy, how do I say this? I didn't have high hopes going into the movie, Barrack. I didn't know what it was about, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get too excited. I'm just waiting for him to disconnect from the call. I'm staring at his little Oscar face. Oscar the crowd staring at me. I didn't have a lot of high hopes, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna tell him I liked it, and it was good and everything because he's a friend of the show and everything, or an acquaintance of the show. That's to be determined as well. But I really actually fucking like this movie. Like I was getting to the point where I had to stop my cooking and like really watch it. I'm like, this is kind of a fucking cool movie.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Like actually enjoyed it. And I'm like, I was like, you watch something with your buddies in it and they're all excited. You're like, watch this part. And you're like, yeah, it's real fucking cool. And no, but this was like this. I really enjoyed this movie. So the movie we're talking about, guys, is Barrack, our friend here, was in a movie called Spell. And not only was he the lead actor in it, but he is also the writer of it as well. And it's his baby. And you can watch it on Amazon Prime. It is there.
We came out with a movie named Spell on Amazon Prime, and maybe 3 months later they released another movie called Spell on Amazon Prime. And on the cover the guy looks like me, so it's just like even if I tell people to go watch Spell on Amazon Prime, like they're gonna watch a completely other movie.
They're telling you about it.
Bro, yeah.
And what's rough about when you make a movie is it's like everybody mentally puts your movie in the same mental box as every other movie they've seen. Like they're comparing your movie to like a $200 million movie that they watched the other day. Something that like 10,000 people worked on, 10,000 artists worked on, and like they had 3 years to work on it and create this amazing thing. And then we go, oh, we made a movie for $100,000, which sounds to normal people like a ton of money. But when you realize like, oh no, that money goes so fast. That's basically like the food budget and lodging budget.
Paycheck per hour.
So yeah, I lost about 20 grand making that movie too. And so like they put you on the same. They go like, oh, is it as good as Lord of the Rings? And you're like, fuck you, man.
It's better.
The fact that anybody makes an independent movie and finishes it is an astounding miracle of creative genius overcoming obstacles. It's like a real Rudy situation. And the fact that like if an independent movie is kind of good, it to me, like if I see an indie movie that's kind of good, they deserve the fucking Oscar, because because what it is, it's a labor of love of like 5 people who are all like going into debt to make this piece of art. So anyways, that's my take. I could go on all day about the indie. I don't know what you guys want to talk about. If you want to talk about indie filmmaking and how bitter I am at it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we could talk about that. I mean, Bert really wants to ask you questions about your wiener too, of course. We're just gonna keep circling around to that, but
be the focal point.
it was. It's gonna be his profile picture on the audiogram.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I wanted to like make the opposite scene from. Did you ever see Eastern Promises?
I don't think so. No.
It's speaking of Lord of the Rings, it's Aragorn. It's like what's his name? The name just left me. The actor who played Aragorn. It's
I think I know. I can see his face right now.
Oh, Viggo Mortensen. He's in this movie where he plays like this wannabe Russian mobster, and there is a naked fight scene in it where it's like in a spa, and he hangs dong, but also like he's as jacked as possible, and he's got this like huge hog too. So it's like
just like you.
He just looks awesome, and it's this awesome fight scene. And I wanted to make the opposite of that, where it's like a really lame, realistic fight. Nobody's like doing leg sweeps or anything, and then and like nobody looks cool. So
against an old man in like fucking middle of Iceland.
Yeah, that scene was really funny to shoot because we go to this like most beautiful natural hot spring just in the middle of some like beautiful canyon in Iceland, and he and I get naked, and we're sitting in about 6 inches of warm water, but it's 40 degrees in the air, so we're like cold and miserable. And in the scene, he like gets up and walks towards me menacingly, and every time he did it, like his I can't tell this story if this is like a podcast for 7-year-olds.
No, it's not. Don't worry.
No, the 7-year-olds don't care about the podcast. They just want their counties colored in. So go ahead. You got us on the edge of your seat.
So every time this actor, Magnus, who's maybe like 55, and he's like a good-looking 55, he like gets up naked out of the water and comes at me, and his like pendulous hog is like at every step is swinging left and right, and it's coming right at my face, and it's eye level. And so like we do 1 take, and then we do 2 takes, and then like we proceed for like the next hour to do dozens of takes of this. And so just like haunted by the memory.
It was true fear. You weren't acting.
Yeah. Haunted by this like swaying penis coming back and forth. I can still picture it.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
his penis is not in the movie because he was smart and said no.
Yeah, no, I guarantee Bert was doing the same thing I was doing. We were staring right through the water, and like I kind of want to see it. I'm hoping to see it. And then sure enough, we didn't have to look very hard. Barrack just fucking stood up, and it just jiggling all over the place while he's running after some old guy in a fucking hot spring.
Yeah. The good life.
Yeah. You've made it, dude. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're on Amazon Prime showing your wiener off. So
that's a big time.
But yeah, but no, I mean, this was a movie that I really did enjoy. My internet started bugging out during your attempt at a lovemaking scene at the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, I wanted to do a lame sex scene too. A lame failed clothes on sex scene.
It reminded me of Bert, but
it's pretty good.
My internet was bugging out, so like I got to see it in nice slow motion, just your ass crack just frozen on the fucking screen and everything, and you biting like your bottom lip while you get to kiss this fucking chick and everything. So I mean, that was cool. I was like, this is pretty fucking hot, honestly. So, but but yeah, no, the movie is great, guys. You should check it out. So, as far as the movie making process goes, um, some of these intimate scenes. I've always wanted to be an actor, but I realize I'm fucking stupid and stopped doing it a while ago. And picked up this podcast with my cousin instead, so that's where my life is. But I never knew if I could stay in character the moment like a female looks at me in a movie. Like fuck the fucking scenes. I mean, as soon as I get a whiff of somebody that I'm supposed to make eye contact with, I might just get hard right away. Bert's the same way, but with guys.
Okay.
So as far as the
Wait,
funky scenes go,
let me unpack what you just said.
Okay.
You're saying to me you can't look a woman in the eyes because you get hard?
in my old life, yes, like a few years ago. I think I have
he was
more
a boy.
control in it now. Yeah, when I was a young, immature lad, Barrack. Nowadays, I'm a man and I got somewhat control over it. I'd like to think, but
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing sexy about it. I mean,
everyone
it was
says that, but I
wild,
feel like
like,
that's BS, man.
well, there's like a bunch of other people in the room, and
True.
and
Oh, that's hot.
it's not comfortable, and like it's always stressful. And dude, there's a woman on set who co-produced it, and we had
Mhm.
dated earlier. That's how she came onto the production. Like I knew her
Ah,
because we briefly dated and remained friends, and then she's like in the other room watching the monitor.
mhm.
Like
Close your
I
eyes.
was like, I'm like saying the same kind of flirty stuff I say in real life, so she could just see me like play act. I don't know.
Mhm.
It was like it's a very stressful environment. There's no time for being like hot and heavy. And then they yell cut, and
Mhm.
you just have to like,
You're like,
you
no,
know.
Yes.
don't
Business
wanna.
as usual.
She's just like, you can do better than that, Barrack. Trust me. Yeah, just don't do what you did. Yeah, no, but um, and then yeah, like I guess yeah, I mean that would be the awkward part, was where they yell cut, and then you're like, all right, good job, and smack her, on the ass. She smacks you on the ass, whatever, and you're like, now
Football.
I gotta go wrestle some old guy naked.
Yeah.
It's the fun process there. Okay, so and I was gonna ask, like, when you do these scenes with other women and you have significant others, I mean, are they pretty understanding of that, or are they kind of fucking weird about it, or how, or experience with people that may have been in that experience before or something like that, or is it just kind of part of the job at that point?
Yeah, it's just the job. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not mad that I'm like going out and pointing a gun at someone and acting like I'm killing them. You know what I mean? Like it's
True.
all kind of acting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My thing is I can't
Although
fake a hard on though.
I will say it is kind of a mind fuck. Like in the movie, there's an actress, Jackie Tone, who's really good, and
Mhm.
she's like a beautiful, like really interesting person. And then there was one night we were filming like cuddling scenes where we're just being improvising and cuddling and being cute. And then
Mhm.
you do that for like 45 minutes, and you feel like you're very familiar with this person. You feel
Yeah.
like your body tells your mind like, oh, this is natural and normal, and we're boyfriend girlfriend. And even though like mentally
It's like
that couldn't be
Pathfinder.
further from the truth.
Mhm.
And then and then you cut and you go like, oh, okay, let me reset my brain for a second. Like
Mhm.
we are
Hey, get the
not in a
fuck away from me.
relationship.
Yeah.
We're all professional people.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a lot of times where people, I mean, where they struggle the most is kind of turning it off or turning it on. I know people say like the guy that voiced, I think it was Roger Craig that voiced Arthur Morgan in Red Dead 2, is his wife helped him leave Arthur Morgan at home or at work, I mean, because I can't imagine he's coming like, God damn it, you stupid bitch. Like, oh, sorry. Yes, I'd like some tea or something like that. The switch there has to be
I couldn't
usually mutual.
imagine. I bet he must have just worked every single day all day for 6 months is my guess. Like I was in that video game. I had like 50 lines they asked me to say, and it took me hours to get through it. And his line is like infinite, man.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
every character he comes into, like there's a whole dialogue tree he has to that actor has to read. I mean, I don't know how you have a voice after recording a game like that. It's astounding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you hear about crazy stuff. Like, even, I know there's some famous person online who ended up doing, like, just lines for, like, some little side thing. Like, even kind of, I guess it sounds like what yours was, but maybe a little bit more. Like, a full character, and it's, like, hours upon hours upon hours of stuff. Just lines
Yeah,
all day.
so I can see with someone like that where you would get like lost, where you would have to get out of that headspace.
Yeah. So, but no, I mean that it's definitely cool to see all of the different projects that you've worked on. It's impressive from a layman's perspective, at least. I'm sure it's respectful in the acting world as too. I can't speak on that, but it's pretty fucking cool. Like I'm telling all my friends, like, yo, I got this guy that says he shit himself on the Super Bowl commercial, or the PG version of it, at least, where you were fucking, what were you, an onion or something like that? And his character like shit himself, but he's like, yo, I peeled myself. I'm like, yo, he's coming on the B&B show.
Yeah.
And just checking out all of your shit there. So it's really cool. And then of course I really, really like the commercial that you played in with Samuel L. Jackson, where you have all the action figures behind you.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Because I'm a huge fan of Survivor, and I watch it on Paramount Plus. And Barrack, your fucking face and your goddamn voice comes up 30 fucking times during one episode of Survivor. So I'm very familiar with this commercial because I don't have the ad-free one. So yeah, I just wanted to say a big fuck. No, I'm kidding. But just yeah, I've seen fucking Samuel L. Jackson roast Barrack like 7 times an episode. So but it's got to be cool though that like as an actor, like you're all over the place, like little pieces here and there, like you're in this Progressive commercial or Capital One, whatever it fucking was, and this Red Dead, like guys, he's in Red Dead Redemption, like fucking badass, and he made his own goddamn movie and he wrote it and all this shit. I mean, that's got to be a cool experience, even if it's these smaller roles. It's still got to be badass.
Yeah, it's like when you want to create something, you do it for a lot of reasons, and you don't understand why why you're doing this podcast. Why do you create it? I'm sure there's like some things in the forefront of your mind of why you do it, and there's a lot of hidden stuff you don't understand right now, but maybe in time you will. And so when I first moved to town, like I wanted fame, man. I wanted to make my mark. I wanted to be famous enough to where I walked in the room. I didn't want to be like a superstar. I remember thinking like, I just want people to have like a generally positive impression of me. And then, and then I started getting on TV and booking commercials, and it was like this huge feather in my cap. And I was like a depressed nerd my whole life, just like unable to make friends, no social skills. And so like it was very meaningful to go like, oh wow, I was on a Super Bowl commercial. Isn't that cool? And people text you, and like definitely I enjoyed that. But now that as I grow as a man, as a human being, and go like, okay, I don't need fame as much. That's not what I need. I realize like, oh, I want financial success, all these other things. Oh, I want validation. Oh, I want to be able to succeed in a creative field, and so I'm leaning more away from these days of like, oh, I need everybody to know who I am, and more of like, dude, if everybody knew who I was, that would help unlock every other single dream I have. I want to be Walt Disney. I like love the Walt Disney story, even though he's probably an anti-Semite creep. But like, besides that, the guy just like walked around and like had 10,000 creative projects working with 10,000 creative people and could pop in and talk about, let's make Small World, and then pop over another room and go like, what are we doing with TV, and pop over another room and like, tell us about this movie set we're making. And that's where I want to go, man. I just want to make so many creative things. And now I want to get an audience. Now I want to for a feather in my cap, like just to make it easier for me to get there and be able to make cool shit. That's all I want to do, is make cool shit, because that is so fun for me. It makes me feel like alive, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, it's clear that it's something that you're super passionate about. I mean, of course, the other things are nice when people know you, or the financial
Oh yeah.
success and stuff. But of course, like the big thing is just having those passions come to life. I mean, the creative process as a whole. I mean, that sounds like something that you're super passionate about, and I think that's really nice for people to hear nowadays, because sometimes people get so distorted from all of the other things that the content definitely suffers over time.
Yeah, I used to be a pastor. I used to be in the ministry. Grew up really Christian.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
yeah, I
Nice.
did like I did improv comedy in church groups through my 20s, like at the end of the 90s, early 2000s. And we just would like
Nice.
for years just live in a van and drive around the country and perform. And like then I became a pastor, and I was like, dude, I love this. I get to use all my storytelling and comedy to be able to speak a positive truth into people's lives, you know.
Mhm.
And then I realized there was no God, and I had wasted my life, and I was like, oh, I don't have that anymore. I don't have this like cool truth to share with anybody. And then I kind of got depressed for about 15 years,
Wow.
because like I had nothing to say to people. I had like, you know, and now I'm discovering, oh, I like talking about the creative process. I like talking about creativity, and I feel like that can be my new version of not preaching, but just like a positive message I can share, you know? And that's
Yeah.
like super motivating to me. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk about it. I'm really passionate about it, and I think it's like this positive thing, and I think everybody goes through it. Like we're all, whenever you create, it's this really frustrating, hard experience. You
Mhm.
know, like I talk shit about making independent movies. Right now, I am writing 2 more independent movies. Like I'm working with the director of Spell, and we are like every week trying to make a new movie. So
Mhm.
even
Okay.
though that whole experience sucked, it was like also the greatest thing I've ever done, you know? And that's
Mhm.
the creative process.
There was that interview that you had at that award show where you were talking about how shitty it is. Where you're like, I got a little drunk and talked about how fucking shitty it was and everything. But it seems to be a common theme where you're like telling everybody, like, hey, I love this. This is like, I'm super passionate about it, but let it be known, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well,
Mhm.
look at the comments on that post. Like
Mhm.
it's 10,000 or what, not 10,000, but
10 million. Yeah, I know.
it's got to be hundreds of
Mhm.
comments of people going, dude, thank you. This is exactly in my brain right
Yeah.
now. And
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, that's cool to read, that my pain and enthusiasm is like, there's
My
so many
drunken
other
self.
creative people who go through the same exact thing.
Yeah, no, exactly, and it is definitely true, and I mean, we're definitely like, again, it's not comparable to like what you guys are working on, but just like on a small scale, like our podcast here is, we have a lot of creative things that we want to do. We've made our own kind of things, little projects here and there that we're super passionate about, but it's just such a pain in the ass to bring those alive. I mean, for one, I got a stupid, fucking, miserable, dumb ass co-host that just won't fucking do anything around here.
It's
So
tough.
it's definitely a one-man band at times. So I feel alone. I know the depressing feeling you're talking about, but no, I mean, it's just one of those things where you have a lot of things that you want to create, things that you want to bring to life. Like ever since I was a young kid, I've always had these movie ideas that I would fucking love to bring to life someday and have the great Barak Hardley fucking star as my lead guy. Um, but it's just like it takes so much goddamn time and energy to do those things. It's hard enough to run a podcast by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do it. You were like, you created something. No one's making you do a podcast. In fact, it'd probably be way easier on your life if you didn't do it. But like, you're doing it, and it's because there's tons about it that you like. It's hard, I'm sure, but you get a lot out of it.
Oh yeah.
Or do you?
Yeah.
Like, what do you get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, we're 110 episodes into it of doing one episode over an hour long each week, so it's pretty clear, I think, at this point that we get something out of it. But our big thing with the podcast is we always just wanted to bring like a community together of like-minded people to where we can sit and we can kind of do like the let's play vibe on YouTube or Twitch and just shoot the shit bullshit, and just kind of be ourselves and make other people laugh. And we've gotten already so many heartfelt messages across iFunny or TikTok or Discord, emails, things like that, of people saying things like, yo, I might sound like an ass kisser, but this is some of the funniest shit that I've heard, and it really makes my day. Thank you. And we're sitting here with like 7 subscribers, and we're like, yeah, with a tear in eye, like, we fucking did it, Bert. Yeah. Now we can shut her down. No, but but yeah, like that's our big like passion behind it. And then of course we have a lot of creative ideas too, and who knows, maybe time will tell where we will be able to bring some of those ideas to life someday in one form or another. I mean, it's a big fucking process, and the little grasp of understanding I have of it now with a fucking baby YouTube channel like this, I can't imagine what it's like to make an actual full-length film like you have done. So no, it's pretty interesting, man, and glad to see somebody that's really into that creative processes as we are with some things. So
yeah, cool.
But yeah, you can wipe your tear away now, Bert. I know that was beautifully said, but let's go back to talking about your cock, Barrack. No, I'm kidding. Barrack, by the way, you know how many times I wanted to call you Barak? Do you get that a lot?
Yeah. Well, it should be Barak. Like, my parents found it in the Old Testament. It's a Hebrew name that should be pronounced Barak, but they were like, Midwesterners from Michigan going, "Oh, Barrack, that sounds nice."
Yeah.
Barrack, they just made up their own fucking name.
It's kind of cool.
Nice. But yeah, after it doesn't really bother me if people call me Barak. I expect it, but you know what? It's starting to fucking bother me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just where you do those passive aggressive things. You're like, so Brock, yeah, Barrack, yeah, what's up? Yeah.
Oh yeah, like when you go to set, when you work, when you get to act, like everybody goes, "Hi, Barak, come on over here." You can go one time, like, "Actually, it's Barrack," and they go, "Oh, sorry, Barrack. Okay, Barak, let's get you over here." Like, okay, I won't bring it up anymore.
Cool. Yeah, you're just reading lines of Samuel L. Jackson. He's like, "All right, Barak," and you're like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Sure.
I watched the video where you talked about working with Samuel L. Jackson, and in that commercial with the action figures behind you, you actually weren't talking to him, like you were just talking to like a blank screen, but you did say you actually were able to read lines with him, and I'm just kind of wondering like what that experience was like, and have you had any other experiences to where you could actually like talk to or even work with other like huge actors that are almost as famous as you, Barrett?
Yeah, the Samuel L. Jackson thing, like, I didn't have a ton of interaction. Although, I mean, I did 3 commercials in a row. The first one, he wasn't there. That's the one with the action figures. He wasn't there at all. And then I worked another day where I was just reading lines with him off camera. And so he was on set that day, but it was like height of COVID. So everybody was like, "Don't fuck around. Everyone wear all your masks. Barrack, you stay." So I was like on the other side of this house facing a wall, reading into a microphone. Didn't meet him. And then, although I was talking to him, weirdly enough. And then I got to shoot that one commercial. But yeah, I got to work with some cool, like really cool people and a couple like really shitty people.
Like
Okay.
Dirt
The
and
cool
Burger,
ones
yeah.
are like
Yeah.
I did this one weird, it was like branded content, you know. It wasn't TV and it wasn't a straight commercial. It was this weird like short film. Maybe it was a series where it was me and Colin Hanks.
Okay.
In it, he has like this vision, and it's like this CGI world comes to life. And they actually got the director who did like Alice in Wonderland, and or maybe not that one, but one of those Tim Burton knockoff types who's really good at CGI. And then they made me like into this monster. I was this CGI character interacting with Colin Hanks. And he was like this nice, normal guy. And then, but the cool part was like his mom was played by Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek and
Okay.
Best of Show. You know, like
Mhm.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
I've had a crush on her since I was 7, and
Yeah.
I got to sit next to her for a while and had like such nice conversations. And she's the nicest person, like no ego. I don't think she really grasped like that she's this beloved comedy icon. So that
Mhm.
was cool. I was like, "Oh, I heard you the dad in Home Alone was kind of a jerk on set." She goes, "No, no, no. He was the greatest guy. He was going through divorce and but you know, it told me this story. He
Sure.
was cool. She was cool. And then you work with like real shitheads like Andy Dick, who got fired twice on the same day for being just like a piece of shit.
Sure.
Like
Okay.
second time he got fired, like he got fired for being just kind of this gross, terrible person. It was this small independent film, and then he showed up kind of fucked up, and then was just like crass and rude, and then he
Oh.
got fired, and then he came back later, like full of apologies. It's going to be different. I'm so sorry. Let me finish the movie. And then as the sound guy was miking him up, he grabbed the sound guy's dick. And
Okay.
it was, and then the assistant director is just like, no, get out of here.
No, no.
Was it like a slip? Like he like slipped on a banana peel and said, "Oop, pardon." And, like or like how do you?
No, this
What do you
guy's
mean he
kind of
grabbed his dick?
he's kind of a tool.
Dude,
He just
Andy
reached over
Dick
and
is
gave it a
this,
squeeze.
yeah, yeah. He just, the guy has to get close to you because it's this like professional. Listen, like sets are professional, man. It is like
Yeah.
people there to fucking work. So
Mhm.
anytime like an actor comes in and is a bit of an asshole, it just like it really stands out and it's weird.
Mhm.
It's like a workplace, you know?
Mhm.
So anyways, so just him being really shitty stood out. Yeah, there's good people and there's bad people, but the
Sure.
good people are so nice when you meet them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Barrack didn't want to tell us that he happened to be holding the camera on that set.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I hated that fucking guy. He was like, it was like the height of Harvey Weinstein. Like Harvey Weinstein's
Oh.
face was on a magazine cover,
Mhm.
and then 2 feet away, like Andy Dick was just like saying the grossest thing to all these like they were all these like young women
Oh my god.
interns there. And
Mhm.
like he just went through all of them. I was so glad he got fired. I called the Hollywood Reporter afterwards.
Yeah.
I snitched on him.
Damn.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
awesome.
awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's like the blessing and a curse there to be us around some of these people. I can only imagine me and Emma Watson sit next to each other chatting about the weather or something. So glad you were able to experience lunch or whatever with your with your childhood crush
Dude,
there.
I have a story you guys will like based off of the conversation we just had.
Hell yeah, give it to us.
So I was in this Vegas commercial. And
Okay.
in it, me and this guy, it was this stand-up comedian named Rick Glass. And Rick and I, just for like 3 or 4 days, were shuttled around to every location in Las Vegas, man. Like go to at this fancy pool, we're at this buffet, we're like gambling, we're if it's cool, we're doing it. And it was a great job. And the whole time there was like like in every shot there was a different beautiful woman. And come to find out, because of course he and I are like politely trying to chat these girls up or whatever. And
Sure.
so come to find out they're all work for the same show. They're all like showgirls
Sure.
at this that Luxor theater. And then at the end, we've become friends with a few of them, and they go, "Hey, do you want to come like see the show? We'll give you some tickets." So Rick and I went, and the show started, and they're like dancing in their outfits, and we're like, "Oh, fun!" I remember like seeing, like, I remember all of these girls are my fellow coworkers, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, then bam, they all take off their shirts and all their tits come out because it's like
Ooh.
a topless review, which we did not know.
Oh my
Nice.
And
God.
it was like so bizarre to see your coworkers suddenly naked.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's not too much to that story. That's the last we talked to him, but
Yeah.
figure there were boobs, so you guys would be into that story.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's been no. I was gonna say there's been situations on this show where I wish that would happen, but it's all been men and
Uh-huh.
my uncle. So
Yep. Yep.
so I don't know. I mean, people have seen you naked, Barrack, and it sounded like they just acted like it was
Another Tuesday.
everyday business there. Yeah.
No.
No, I mean, just part of the job. So they probably wanted you to start.
Also in Spell, what?
I was gonna say they probably wanted you to start throwing some nickels in their hats or something while they were dancing on the streets, but that might have been the reason why you haven't seen them again.
Oh my God.
Also in Spell, there's a bunch of stuff I did in that I like. The movie ends with me walking into a real life waterfall that's maybe 150 feet tall.
No
Like it's
way.
a giant waterfall. Well, you guys saw it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
I really fucking walked into that. That's not
Oh,
CGI. It was
That's
the last
insane.
shot of the movie where like I did this crazy stunt where
Mhm.
I walked into a waterfall that could have easily killed me. And
Mhm.
I walked as far as I could. And in the shot, I completely disappear in the mist.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I thought like, oh, that people will ask me about that. No one's ever asked me about that.
Mhm.
It's
Damn.
the coolest fucking thing I've done. And then I was trying to do all these things because how many times can you be the star of a movie if you're
Mhm.
just like an ordinary guy like us?
Oh yeah.
It's not going to be. I thought like, well, I'm going to try to take advantage of this. I'm going to try to write a bunch of scenarios for myself and really challenge myself and do some really interesting stuff that I haven't seen before. So I did a naked fight scene. I like walked into a waterfall. I like my character gets a tattoo. I really got the tattoo.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn.
like we went to Iceland and shot in the craziest locations. It was
Wow.
it's
That is awesome.
So you still have
Yeah.
that tattoo on right now?
yeah, and it's this like design I invented for I like created it and got it. So I'm like it's a
Wow.
piece of me I see every day in the
Damn.
mirror to remind me of that film.
That is
Really proud of
Yeah.
it.
That is amazing.
Yeah, you Steve Carell'd it in the 40-year-old version, except you got a fucking tattoo rather than your chest waxed.
Yeah.
That's dope.
That's cool. So, yeah, no, I mean, again, there's a lot more to this movie than Barrack's Wiener out there. So we had a couple of questions about the plot. We watched your movie. There's a lot of plot points in it that were a bit confusing. Looked it up online. People are kind of arguing back and forth on the state of mind of your character that you played. Benny, what the fuck was his last name? Miller, Stills, fucking, I can't remember. Benny something. Benny Hardley. And
Mhm.
everybody that's gonna go watch this movie, I mean, spoilers alert, we're gonna talk about the movie here a bit, but your guy, like, was he actually like a part of like this big superstitious wizard stuff? Was he actually going crazy because of his meds at the end? I know there was that scene where where your doctor was talking about the side effects and things like that, and you walked into the waterfall. I mean, what can the lead actor say about what was going on at the end of that movie there?
Yeah, well, I get asked that did it happen or did it not happen? Was it real or wasn't it? And like I didn't write it with one answer in mind,
No,
Okay.
okay.
and I didn't act it with one thing in mind because to me it was like it's like mysterious things in real life. Like you don't get to know the answer. Like I grew up believing in a God and now I don't, but like I don't get to know that answer.
Mhm.
And and part of it was, it's about a movie. It's about somebody grieving for the loss of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't know, like, basically, is there an afterlife or not? Like, will I see this person again? Did they exist? Like, but it goes deeper than that. Like, did our relationship even matter? Like, does life have a point? Does life have a meaning? Do I have a purpose? It's like, am I the master of my domain, or does shit just happen to me for no reason that I can't control? So it was like trying to play with all those ideas. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's knowable. I don't think it's knowable to say how much control we have if we're living in a simulation. Like if there's an afterlife, and so I didn't want to give that to the audience because we don't get that in real life, So I left it like really ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I mean, it sounds so corny for me to say that because you're going to probably go, well, if you believe it or not. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to live through. I mean, even when I was a Christian and like fully believed in God like I never believed in an afterlife. It never felt real to me.
Sure.
So, and so now I go like, yeah, I don't want to give away the ending. I already told you how the exact scene the movie ends with. But yeah, I don't really have an answer for you.
Okay.
But, I'm going to say it doesn't matter though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter like whether it was real or not real because, at either way, my character's journey is done at the end of the movie. Like his searching
sequel.
is done. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no sequel.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's probably pretty difficult for a person to walk into a waterfall like that, and make her out alive, as Barrett can literally fucking tell you.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but
And also the last voice you hear in the movie is
Mhm.
Rivers Cuomo, the singer of Weezer.
No
that's
way.
what it was.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I read some stuff online about how you guys were able to do that or something.
That's awesome.
That
It's
is
so funny.
That's
that is
pretty good.
cool. Weren't you in like a music video for them or for somebody or something
Yeah,
like
how
that?
all that happened was the guys who made the movie, like they work for this music management company called Crush, and they represent like Sia and Green Day and Fall Out Boy and Weezer and all
Oh.
these acts.
Mhm.
And so they wanted to get into film. So like for instance, the guy who directed the movie, Brendan, he does like all the music videos for Green Day and all those bands.
Oh wow.
And so this was them wanting to make something more substantial. And so we had like, oh, I can't remember. There's a musician who was going to play Jess or who wanted to play Jess that we didn't go with. Some really great musician. And then like the guy who scored it was Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy.
Yep.
So good.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Who, by the way, is like the nicest, least rock star guy you could imagine. Like that dude hates being a rock star. He hates fame. He just like wants to sit in a quiet room making music by himself.
Wow.
So it's very funny that he's a rock star.
Mm-hmm. For a pretty big band too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy that you had all those big people like behind that movie too. I mean, that's what I love about like those little details. In movies, like the last guy here was the guy from Weezer, the guy that did the soundtrack was from this band and everything like that. It's pretty badass. But with that creative process, so you wrote this movie. So does that mean like what you're doing now? Like you literally like wrote out everything and then you took it to like different producers or studios or whatever it may be and pitched the idea until finally someone picked up on it? Is that kind of how that creative process goes, or there's some steps?
Sometimes, yeah, you never know how a movie gets made. It happens 10 million ways. It's always a fluke. I mean, unless you're like Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
then you could just decide to make a movie and it happens. But for the rest of us, we just like, I don't know, try our best and hope. That movie came about because those guys wanted to make a movie and they liked me. And they said, do you have any ideas? We want to shoot in Iceland. And I was like, oh my God, I love Iceland and I'm trying to like write a movie there. So, and they're like, great, we want to make a weird movie in Iceland. What do you got? So I came up with the idea and ran it past them and then wrote it in a couple months. And then a month after that, we were in Iceland making it.
Damn. That's really badass. So do you have projects that you've had like in mind for a very long time that are starting to come to life, or are you still working on bringing them to the light of day, or they kind of more recent ideas like what you had with Spell?
Oh yeah, I have so many. I've outlined so many movies and TV shows that just I've either not pushed across the finish line or I have and like no one cared. You know, like I worked on this movie. There's this Christian comedian named Mike Warnke I grew up listening to, and it turned out he was like this huge fraud, like a real piece of shit fraud.
Sure.
And responsible for the satanic panic of the 70s and 80s, which is now back with Q. It's basically everything happening with Q happened before. Sure. And so I spent a long time writing a movie, and then my agents and managers are really excited about it. They send it out and they go, oh, we send it to this company and this company. We send it to Ben Stiller's company.
Wow.
And then out of that, you get like 5 meetings. And the meetings are basically like, oh, we love it. We don't want to make it. What else do you have? And you go, I don't know. I wrote that. That's what I have.
This is kind of the thing.
And then it just disappears forever. It's a wild business. But that being said, like, yeah, I have so many projects. Like last year I was walking down the sidewalk and I found like this light box. It was one of those you know those light boxes on Chinese restaurant walls where it's the waterfall that looks like it's moving? And somebody had thrown that out. I was like, oh. And I took it home and I opened it up to see how it worked, and it didn't make any sense. Like I was looking at this thing and it didn't make any sense to me. I had no idea how it worked. So I spent the next 3 months figuring that out, and then I started making these light boxes, and I was like, shit, now I gotta get good at woodworking and learn all that, and then wiring and electrical. And so I've been working on this light box project for about a year.
Wow.
I'm like giving hints of it online, but I think I probably have another year of work to do on it. But I think it could be like a big idea. Like I have a big vision for it.
It's exciting.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the cool shit that you've made on TikTok, where you kind of go around and show all some of the cool shit that you've made. And it's pretty fucking impressive, because that shit's not easy to to make and understand and things like that. But when you were talking about the film business, Barrack, and you were saying things like you know, it's just crazy and it's this and that, and you being at the right place and right time and everything. I mean, that's kind of what made me turn away from pursuing that as a career, was just the craziness in it. And there's not like a lot of security. Like once you made it, you make it kind of thing, in some cases at least. But with all of the different directions and this and that, and just working your ass off and seeing super talented actors like yourself not have the same kind of spotlight as people that I'm like, fuck these guys. I mean, I like these indie guys a little bit more than these other people. I think that was the kind of thing that really turned me away, because it was something that I was pursuing for a very long time. So to see you just kind of you said you've been doing it for like 15 years now, and to keep your fucking head up over that is really impressive. I can't imagine how easy it is. So I took a more bitch job, and now I'm a janitor, but a retired janitor now, but still though, it's always cool hearing behind the scenes and things and everything like that.
Oh, cool. I appreciate it. That's cool you did it too. I mean, the bummer, the thing I wish I would have known moving here is that this life is only possible if your parents are rich and famous and powerful. Like
Yeah.
Think of a successful actor you like. Their fucking mommy and daddy are rich. And that's
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
and I moved out here at like 31. Like
Mm-hmm.
no money, nothing to my name, like no
Mhm.
one promoting me. So I don't know. I don't know why we could have used some rich parents. That would have been fun.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I've been reading a lot about like Twitter starting to talk about this again, about all the actors who have like famous mom and dads. It's hard, man. The arts is completely run by like rich kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ever meet any kind of artist or creator who doesn't come from money, like yeah, you gotta honor it, man,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
or appreciate it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, and just the respect, the fucking hustle that's from it. So I mean, yeah, it's one of those things that I mean, again, like with this podcast, we can kind of jump into those ideas and stuff like that. It's something that I haven't completely put on the back burner. So if you need like a big dumbass in your next movie, let me know, Barrack. You know my Insta. But no, I mean, it's just one of those things that when it becomes a job, I feel like sometimes a lot of people lose their interest in it, and kind of keeping it as a hobby, like this podcast, like a few roles here and there in TV shows, movies, commercials, things like that, and then just kind of seeing where it goes, I think is a better approach, at least for me, rather
Yeah.
than jumping into it head first like you did. There's no way I could fucking do that.
You know, I'm the same way. I've left art my whole life as a hobby. You know, it's just something I've enjoyed doing it. Every time I've ever tried to make money on it, I instantly started to hate art.
Mm-hmm.
It made me despise it. So I'm actually making my first run at it now where I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's really important. And I say keep doing it, man. If the podcast is bringing you joy, like, yeah, keep doing it as a hobby. That's like, I think hobbies are the coolest thing.
Oh,
You know, have you seen that? There's like all this shit going around on some comedian like ripped on Ted Lasso and Disney people with one tweet and is like getting dunked on. And my whole take is like, who fucking cares what people's I think it's cool that people have hobbies. You know what happens with people who don't have hobbies? They like join Q. They like take up arms against the Capitol. You know what I mean? They like stalk and kill people. They come up with schemes to like
Yeah.
to go nuts. Like, just let people go to Disneyland. Let people enjoy sports. Like, let's not be arrogant pricks and go like, oh, you're into something nerdy. I'm not. Like, fuck that, man. Let people be dorks. It's the coolest thing you can do.
Oh yeah.
That's my take as a 45-year-old man.
I was gonna say, except adults that play with Legos, right?
Oh my God, those are the worst people on earth.
Yeah, I did my homework, Barrack. I did. I checked.
Oh shit, I did that. Oh my God, you called me out to my face.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, you posted it on Twitter like a few weeks ago. Daddy's been watching you. I make sure my guests are accounted for now. But,
listen, I have to sign off on you calling yourself daddy to me.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, before you do sign off, there is one last question I gotta ask you. Before we wrap things up, did you ever read that message that I sent you on
Yeah,
Discord?
I got a movie.
Yep. Okay. Good. So, a thing that we do with every single guest that we come on is this thing called Booby Time, because it sounds like movie time. We ask guests to come and bring the weirdest fucking movie they've ever seen, most fucked up movie they've ever seen, and you tell us what it is, and we're gonna watch it by next week. I sent you a list on the movies that we've had, and there's been some bangers on there. And as a guy that's been in movies, been in commercials, been around all these people, we're very excited to see what you bring to the table this time, man. So what do you got for us for Booby Time?
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, I don't watch gory movies. I don't like that. I don't like really fucked up movies. And then
I made
a
movie about a guy that wants to jam a fucking pencil into his ear, dude.
Yeah, that's art though.
True.
You know, my head went to like like gory horror movies that's just about like, oh, let's like brutally torture beautiful teenagers. You know, like, oh, I hate that shit. I don't like violence towards women. I think it's a weird thing. So, but then I realized, oh, I do. There was one movie that kind of shook me,
Oh god.
and it's the movie Nightcrawler.
All right.
Have you seen that?
Let me see.
And it's
Nightcrawler.
It's Jake Gyllenhaal, and
oh boy, I haven't seen this in a long time. I think I saw this when it came out, dude. Holy shit.
Who's the other guy in it? Who's like his assistant? He's blown up lately.
There's a couple. Oh, Bill Paxton's in it, lol.
Okay.
Or like, I think that it's anyways. So it's this story about a psychopath or sociopath. I don't know. Just this like really broken person with no empathy, and it's the fucked up, and it's the story of like how he creates a business and gets a girlfriend.
Yep.
But what's truly fucked up about it is that it is a true roadmap for success.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you do the things and take on the mentality of the lead actor in Nightcrawler, it will fucking work. And that's scary because he is a monster.
How to make
he is
Burger big. Be like Nightcrawler.
I mean, it's a roadmap, and what's fucked up in it is that it is the opposite of what I believe. It shook me to go, like, I've always gone like, be a good person, and that makes life good, and you'll get what you want. You know what I mean? And love people and seek positivity. And here's a guy who's just like, I'm gonna get what I want. I'm just gonna decide what I want, and I'm gonna try to get it.
That's it.
And I don't care who I hurt, and it fucking works. And that was what fucked me up.
Wow.
And it made me go like, am I a fool for trying to be a good, kind person and bring like hope and light into the world? Or should I just like
be a shithead,
get what I want? You know, like I could have a successful movie career right now if I would like learn from this character. I think it's
yeah,
kind of. I mean, and people do that shit all the time. We are surrounded by sociopaths, and they're all rich and successful. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at the high rises of downtown LA through my window, and I know those offices are filled with high paid sociopaths.
Oh yeah.
Like, it is the way the world works, and that's what's fucked up about it.
Especially in a business that calls themselves the entertainment business. On top of all of it, where a lot of sociopathic shit had to happen in order for them to be where they are there. So we'll make sure we check out Nightcrawler. It hasn't been suggested on Booby Time. I know we have seen that a while ago, but I'm very excited to watch it again with your kind of view on it, Barrack. So thank you very much for that. And thank you for your time, man, for coming on. I know you've been quite a busy boy lately with everything. So it's been an honor to have you on. It's been really cool. So before we wrap things up, man.
Well, I just want to say thanks for looking at my stuff and thinking about it, and thanks for watching Spell and coming up with questions. I really appreciate it, and it's like it's very kind that you did that. Thank you.
Well, yeah, man. Actually enjoyed it, and I mean that without saying like, yo, I kind of like him, so I'm gonna tell him his movie wasn't bad. But I really did like that. But yeah, did you want to like shout out any of your stuff? We'll make sure we have links in the description for you.
Oh yeah, like I come up with new shit every day, new fun, weird stuff on TikTok. Come find me, and then buy my art.
Yes, buy the man's art. So
give me your money.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we can team up, and we'll have you make us some stuff, and we'll give you the money you deserve, man. So anyways, guys, that is enough of this episode of the Burtonburger podcast. Thank you so much for chilling out with us on episode 110. We're just trying to bring a little bit of the family element to the podcast world, guys. Remember, at the end of the day, it's just comedy. Calm the fuck down. Bert, thanks for your 5 lines as always.
Oh,
when
yeah.
there's a guest here.
Do my part.
Appreciate it. Barrack, again, thank you very much for coming on, man.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out. We'll see you all in the next episode. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Peace.